Y'all tonight. Happy Christmas in July. I am coming to you from a pre-recorded video tonight because I am at a craft retreat, so I am unable to be live with you tonight. I'm going to go ahead and use some of the items from the Christmas in July sale. I have linked everything down below, including the link to the sale. Most of the links are affiliate links. Those are marked, which means if you place an order using one of those items, or one of those links, then I get a small commission from there, and that helps me bring content and supports me so that I can keep creating for you guys. I also wanted to know, as I recorded this, there were 24 virtual spots left for the CYOE, the Create Your Own Ending event, and I have a special link down below. If you sign up through that link, there is a special gift that you will get with your order, some grid paper that you can use for your crafty desk to keep your desk clean. So let's head down to the desk and see what we're going to create with tonight. All right, so I went through my stash and looked at the sale. I've got the funky label cutting die. We're just going to use the big die tonight because it coordinates with these foilable card panels. Now, I'm not going to foil them tonight, but it does match with these. You can cut these items out here. I'll show you that here. I have everything pre-cut out. That's only to save us some time. This also matches with a little something for you stamp set. I'm not going to use these images tonight because there are some pre-cut or pre-colored images in the card panels, and I already have them die cut out. However, there's also a coordinating die that goes with it that will cut out not only the stamps, but these items. The three big items are there and this border. But I am going to use the sentiments. And then I have some other things I'm going to pull in as we go, and let's get started. All right, so I have my whole little plethora of stuff all ready to go here. Oh, sorry, my camera went really weird. I'm not sure what, I set something down on my camera. I don't hope that was all okay, you guys. I hope it's not affecting you and it's just, there we go. It zoomed everything in on me. So hopefully everything's good for you guys. So I've got a few things cut aside here and some panels. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I had A2 card panels cut and I'm just looking for them quick. All right, so I got my first A2 card panel. I'm going to go ahead and grab a piece of this beautiful paper. Now this is a full card panel size, so you could use that. I am going to cut it. I think I need to move one of my magnets here to get them out of the way. And I'm going to go ahead and cut this down to 3 inches. And then I'm going to save this for something else. I'm going to go ahead, this is going to go right here. And then I used some of the, I don't remember, what's it called? The silly strips. You could also use your paper trimmer just to cut down. I used the metal die to cut some gilded glitter stock. And I'm going to go ahead and put that down. That's going to be here for this piece. And then we're going to go and kind of create from there. So let's get this started first. For my colored cardstock, I chose Heirloom, Tomato, and Meadow. I just pulled those out. I don't know if we're going to use them for sure. We are going to use the Heirloom Tomato for sure because I've already die cut some things out with that. But I don't know if I'm going to use the metal for sure, but I decided that was kind of a close match to that this light green here. So I'm just going to go ahead and we're just going to kind of create a quick card right here like this. Now, there are some options I wanted you to see. Here is the funky label cutting die. I took a class that was also part of, so I have a couple of them. But here's how you can cut out. And I wanted you to, all I did was match up the hole in the die and then around the edges, and it cut out beautifully. So we have this. Now I feel like these are very busy competing patterns, so I'm not going to use that right now. I mean, I could flip it over, But what I do is I have these are some of the images that are pre-colored and pre-cut. And I thought what I would do is maybe get a little piece of vellum, and we could stamp out some cut out some vellum just to kind of pop those up. And I'm just going to use a circle die if I can find it quickly. Please hold a minute. I forgot to grab that. I just went through my stash and found a circle die. This will be the right size. It measures about 2 3/4 of an inch. And then I know I have some vellum kind of stuck to the side here. I don't know if it's handy. Yep, there it is. That was the one thing I forgot to cut ahead of time, was my vellum. Go ahead and cut it out of this piece here. You can also zhuzh this up a lot by grabbing some overlays, or you could do glitter spray over the top, like the chroma mist, like the ornament gold chroma mist, which would give it a very fun color. All those things. We're doing some kind of just basic cards tonight, just because, you know, Christmas, lots of bling. Yeah, I think that's about right. I like that, right like that. And I'm going to use these little treat things here. So let's get those down. I'm going to glue these down flat. No, I'm not. We're going to pop them up. I changed my mind. I was going to pop up the vellum, but then I decided I would rather pop these up. So I'm going to go ahead and use up some of my foam squares that I have here on my desk. And then what the nice part is about using that vellum is that we can stick our adhesive behind the images and you won't see them. Now, if you were part of, I did not look, so I can't tell you right now. There were 2 other sets that matched. There was a fall set and a Halloween set that matched this die set. And there were also some foilable card panels that matched them as well. I do not know if they are still available, but if you did happen to have them in your stash, then you could actually mimic these cards and just use those and make them into fall or Halloween versions. But we're doing Christmas in July tonight, so I love this little Santa hat. All right, so then I'm going to grab my liquid glue. Oops, those are my snowmen there. And I'm just going to add a little bit of liquid glue behind each one of these. And I can go kind of here, even though it's not popped up there, because you're not going to see it. And then it's going to give us a little movement yet on our vellum. I'm going to go ahead and put it down slightly over the edge. And then let's grab our sentiment and see what we have here. So our sentiments, you know, we've got our to from. So you could totally do a to from. There's a little something special. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do just for you, but I'm going to do it sideways. Just give it a little change, a little something different. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in my Misty here. And I'm going to grab my just for you. We're going to stick it right here. Let's make sure it's kind of straight. I'm going to use my Misty lines to do that. And then my Raven detailing. Ooh, I really inked that up, so I got to be careful when I stamp it down. Okay. Okay, maybe a little bit more in the 4. So I really inked that stamp up. I don't know if you saw that or not. So I go just for you, and then of course we need a little bit extra bling. So what I'm going to do is grab some Fallen Snow glitter glaze and a paintbrush. And I'm going to go in here and just grab some of this. I'm just like this. So not a lot. Just a little bit on my brush. And I'm going to go ahead and just paint. And of course, it looks like my paintbrush has a little bit of, it was a little blue, but that's okay. I must not have cleaned it properly. And we're just going to paint it on. And I'll show it up close here. I'm going to do just a little bit of Santa, and I'm going to swirl it a little bit because it kind of looks like swirling. I don't want any big globs, so if I get a little big glob, I might just grab it off with my paintbrush and move it around. Grab a little bit in there. You could all just do this with Pearl Aqua pigment, and then we just have a little bit of shine. Now it's going to be a lot more shiny once it's dry and glittery than when it's wet right now, but you'll at least see the shine from the wetness, and then you'll know that that's where the glitteriness will come through. Let me get this up close here so you can see that. I'll just add a little bit of shimmer shine right there. It's just going to be enough for the beholder. So there we go. We have card number 1. I mean, look at how quick and fast that was in 10 minutes. All right, let's move on to card number 2. This time I am going to use one of these, and there is this beautiful paper that has all these presents on it. Now it's a little, like I said, it's a little busy. And what I think we're going to do is we're just going to add a little bit of green behind it. So I'm going to cut this down, this panel down. Let's get our glitter glaze covered up. And I'm going to move that over to somewhere to maybe my brush stand. And I'm just going to cut off, I think I'm going to cut off this side because there's a little bit of open area. And I'm going to cut this down to 4 by 5 1/4. And I think this might be one we zhuzh up a little bit. But I haven't decided which way I want to do that yet. And then I'm going to grab, this is that meadow cardstock I was talking about. I'm going to go ahead and grab this and cut this down to, actually I'm going to cut it to 5 1/4 first so that I have an A2 card panel by 4 1/4. Because we're going to mat it on that, give it some green. And then I'm going to go ahead and do a strip at about 2 inches. And then this is where I'm going to play a little bit. I could totally go up the middle, but I'm thinking about going like this and just doing a little bit of but I haven't decided, just a little bit of something to kind of give it just a little bit so it kind of breaks it up. I'm feeling like this might be a little full. So I have a piece of scrap here. Let's try a scrap. It's not straight yet, so I'll have to cut it. I think I'm going to use the scrap instead. So let's cut this down so it's straight. If you see that it's an edge of a piece and it's not straight at all. So we'll put it in our trimmer and make it a 1-inch strip. And then we can put that through and see, you could do it either way. I'm going to do it this way. And actually we're going to do it a little bit lower than half. So that way when we put this on, it just breaks that up a little bit. See that? But I want to add a little bit more bling to this. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just grabbing a random one that is going to work. Yep. I didn't want the hearts. I'm going to grab a piece of our sparkle overlay. This one is the firework because, you know, fireworks frenzy just ended. We're going to go ahead and cut this down. Actually, I can cut it to the right size because I know what size I need. So we're going to cut it to 4 by 5 1/4. And then we will put that over the front, and that is just going to make our card go something kind of special. So what I'm going to do is peel a little bit off. And I'm going to be, forgive me if I get a little quiet while I concentrate here. Because you really only get one shot. Now it is off a hair, but I'm not going to worry about that too much. I can always trim it a little bit. And I'll just pull it back. And then now, if you've never saved a piece, save one of these pieces because you can stick foam tape to it. Like, I'll give you a good example. I'm going to go ahead and get this piece ready to go. We're going to stick this on here. And I can stick some foam tape on here. Turn my foam tape up a little bit. And then, as you can see, things are blowing on my desk because I have my fan going. You can take that foam tape off and you can stick it on here and it's ready to go. See? And I'll just be able to peel it straight off. So I didn't unpeel all of them. I just did the one. But look at how fun now that shimmer and shine is. That just gives your card just that little bit of something. And there was no mess with glaze if you're not a glazy person. And you can, you didn't have to heat emboss because I have friends who do not like to heat emboss. Or you didn't have to get your foil machine out. It's too hot to get my foil machine out right now. So that was just nice. Let's add that to our card base, our card panel. Perfect. I got a couple little fuzzies. My trimmer must be a little sharpening. There we go. Now we've got this piece here. We're going to go ahead and put this down. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show. We may even change up our card. I might change it up just a little bit yet. So I'm going to go ahead and put this down. Went sideways so I can kind of see it. Hope that I'm going straight. See through my stick and stay mat on the line below. Trim this piece off right here. And now what you could do to make it very simple is you could just add your little snowman and your little saying, and you would have a very, very simple card. Now I kind of want to add a little bit more color. So we're going to kind of compare. Yeah, I don't know if I want the green. I'm going to use this red one. But I think I'm going to go up like this. I'm just trying to play a little bit to see what I like. Okay. Not sure. I'm kind of really digging what I wanted to do right here. So I might do that. I hope that's okay with you guys. We're changing it up a little bit. Grab another piece of our foam tape. I don't know if I can get that off of there. Yeah. I'm going to just grab my pieces off the back of this. We'll still use this. But I just like this one better, like this. I have an idea for that one yet. Peel off our backing, which it's being difficult tonight. I could use my pick tool too, but that's, I mean, there. Put that one right here. Now, obviously, you could go through your stash and find all sorts of fun little snowman sayings or things like that. We're going to keep using the same set. And instead of just for you, which I'm just going to take off and set on my piece there, I'm going to go ahead and set this in my Misty. And I'm going to grab a little something special. And I'm just going to stamp that right here. Just lining it up so that it looks kind of straight. There we go. Now I'm going to be a little more careful this time because I don't need to really push my ink pad in. I just re-inked it. A little something special. And then to bling it up a little bit more, I'm going to grab some gems from my stash here. I'm going to go ahead and grab the crystals. Sequins would work. Oh, these are the crystal ones. Okay, I was hoping I didn't grab the pink ones. The pink ones would be fine, but. And then we're just going to add a few little blings and blings. My glue clogged all over. Oh, all right. Let's wipe that up with our fingers. It fixed it. There we go. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to do 4 and 5. Oh, this time we'll cover it with our little silicone thing so it doesn't dry up so fast. Grab our point tool, or pick stick tool, whatever this thingy is called, and put our bling down. And if you overglued, like I do with my gems, all you do is take your cloth, make sure it's dry, because if you have wet ink on it, it can transfer. And you just all I did was push straight down. And there we go with card number 2 with awesome fun bling too. Oh, and I do want to add a little bit of that glitter glaze so that we make sure he looks kind of snowy. So we're going to grab some glitter glaze. And I'm going to go ahead and just kind of put it along the edge here of him. I'm not going to spread it all over. We're just going to add a little. That's a kind of a bigger glob. This is my oldest jar. I'm trying to use it up. So we're just going to put some along the edge. Just going to give him a little bit of shine. We're going to put a little bit on his carrot nose, just a little bit. Just to give him a little frozenness. There we go. We've got a little bit of a frozen snowman, and he will dry nicely too. All right, let's get that off to the side. There is card number 2. Okay, I think I'm gonna get at least one more card made here because I had one more thing I definitely had planned. So also in the card panels, so these tags came, and then there's some of the tags came with these stripes at the bottom, and some of them came with the little icons that I cut out. And so I did cut some of these stripes out. I thought they would be fun to use. So let us get, maybe we'll make a mini slim card. Okay, let's cut this down. I'm going to cut down a little bit off each side. I'm going to cut it down to 3.25 by 6 because that is my favorite for mini size. Okay, by 6. I'm going to check and see if I have a card panel quick here. I don't know if these are the right size or not. These might be too skinny. Okay, these are 3.25, which will work. So we'll just use one of these card panels that I have. 3.5 also works. I'm going to do 3.25, which means I'm going to cut this down to 3. And the reason I like to do 3.25 a lot is because if you cut your 6x6 pattern paper in half, you have enough to put it on a card panel. And then it's 6.25. It all depends on your envelope and what envelope you're going to use. So we're going to use this. And then I have some of those strips cut. This was the green. I have them all here kind of messed in. I've got some red glitter stock. I've got some ruby glitter stock, or I don't know if it's called ruby, gilded glitter stock. And let me find the rest of those stripes. And here's our 2 stripes. So I thought it'd be fun to just kind of line them up in a panel. I thought, was there a red stripe too? Not sure. And this is also where you could grab some of that extra paste of paper. Yeah, here's the red. Okay. So I might switch these ones around. Switch this around with this. But then I have my red next to each red. So then move this one maybe here and this one maybe. Nope, then that's next to the glitter. Okay, we're going to just rearrange these a little bit. It doesn't matter so much. Let's get them glued down. So I'm going to go ahead and let's see, what do I want? I think I'm going to kind of put them all. Let's start. We're just going to start. You guys know me. I am one of those crafters that just go for it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do it at an angle. I'm going to do a green stripe next, I'm just going to use tape runner. And I think I'm just going to leave a hint of the dark green between. And then I'm going to use the golds. Just a little bit between. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just eyeballing it. And then I'm going to use the red stripe. This will work. Then we're going to put this green, thicker one in. And then I'm going to put the red glitter stock piece in. And now this one I added over glittered a little bit, so I'm gonna, or over taped it. And then I feel like we just need a little bit more bling, so I'm gonna go ahead and have a thicker piece of the golds. And I don't know if I want to do that. I'm gonna add the red in instead, because I want glitter on the top and the bottom. That makes sense. So we're gonna go ahead and put those in. Now you could just flip them over, like this. Which kind of is a fun effect. And I think that's just what I'm gonna do. You could also trim them off. I'm gonna go ahead and flip them over. And I'm just gonna grab some of my, I have a little bit left over see, there's not much left there. So I guess we're not gonna use that. I'll use some of it. I'm going to go ahead and just tape that down, but you can also just tape some Scotch tape and tape it down because it's not going to matter. Like I said, you could trim it off, but I thought it would be fun to just tape them down on the back side. Because it's going to go on the card panel anyway. Good old-fashioned Scotch tape will glue down. So then we have this piece, which is the fun piece. And then we have our little tag thing, which is going to cover up a lot of that. And I was thinking, well, maybe we did a card earlier where I kind of folded it over, but I don't know if I want to do that. I'm going to try something. I'm going to try cutting it in half. I'm going to cut it right down the center. So I'm going to just line it up in my trimmer. How big is it? 1, 2, 2.75. I'm not even sure what that is in half. I'm not gonna think about that right now because it'll take me too long to figure that right now. We're just gonna eyeball it. That looks good. Let's see what this looks like. I was thinking that maybe, just maybe, yep, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put a little bit on top and I'm gonna put a little bit at the bottom, and then we can trim it off. All right, let's do that. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this. And we're just going to kind of eyeball it here. I'm going to go ahead and do it right. I'm going to do it just a hair over. There we go. It's actually quite centered because of the circle, which we could cover up, but I'm going to go with it. because it's going to match. Trim it off. Oh, I thought I heard a magnet stick to something. Let's get that out of there. Trim this off here. This is just another way to use your die, is to cut it off and use that. Now, so I wanted you to see that it's a little bit, but it matches. So even though it's not centered, it matches on each side. So it makes it look like it's right. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab one more piece of vellum here. And once again, I'm going to cut out a circle. Let's cut a piece of vellum down. This is vellum I've had in my stash for a long, long time. Cut out a circle. And then we can still put this down on here, and so it kind of covers, but yet we still get that design. Now you could move it to another location if you want. You know, we could turn this sideways and, you know, do it, but I'm going to do it right smack dab in the center. And what I did is I used the friend cutting die to cut out these pieces. And I left the ones with the glitter stock in for this part. Go ahead and pop them out. It cuts out, and we're going to use them as ornaments. So let's get them out. There we go. And I got to pop out the center part. And then we're going to just do a pile of 3 of them. But now you could do a different color. I chose to do red and red. So pull the flower out of this one. You could also put them straight over vellum and like fussy cut them out. So we're going to do, I'm going to do a cluster of 3. And then we're going to put our little flowers in there. So let's get, I'm going to do the flowers first. I'm going to kind of leave them where I want them. And put my flowers down. Put my flower down. Just like that. And I'm going to pull up this piece. Now I'm sure there's an easier way to do this. You could put them in and tape them down. I'm going to go ahead and then grab my glue and add this little bit of glue and stick that back down right on top. And I can grab my little magnet here and stick that down. I think, how do I want to do these? I'm just going to kind of do them at a couple different angles. Yeah, like that. Okay. This one I'm going to glue down first this time. You could put double-sided adhesive on these too and die cut them out, so then you wouldn't have to use the liquid glue, but you would have a little bit less wiggle room. I think I'm going to twist that one on the side. And then I can just go ahead and put a little glue. Now that's a lot of glue. Now my vellum isn't glued down yet. That's okay. Yeah, I used a lot of glue there. There's my cloth. And stick that one there, and then we're going to grab this guy. I'm going to go straight on, I think, with him. Oh, I don't want to use that. That's glitter, glitter, glitter. Take the glue off of that. We want this one. And then for a little something extra special, well, we're going to get our vellum glued down first. I'm just going to add some glue. I'm not going to pop this one up. We could pop this up, but I'm going to glue this one straight down. get that on there. So I can save these for something else. And then for a little bit of white pop, because we have the white around the edges, I'm going to grab a piece of cardstock and we're going to stamp our little sentiment again. And we're going to do our Just For You sentiment. Let's put that back on our glass mat. And I'm going to put this magnet on it. Hold that down. And I will cut that out. I'm just going to gently put it on here. That works. Stamp this down. You could also heat emboss this with Gilded embossing powder to add a little bit more gold bling bling if you wanted. And then I'm going to grab my trimmer. You could also grab a sentiment die, like these simple strip dies. I just wanted to show you. Would work. You just would have to line it up and it would trim it out. So I'm going to just use my trimmer because my die cutting plates are on the wall right now. So I'm just going to line it up in my trimmer. Both directions. I'm just matching it up with the edge of my, right here at the edge of my plastic. And then I'm going to go ahead and trim it down kind of close on this side. Because I'm going to try to stick it under my little ornaments here. It might not work. I might have to, I've already got them glued down. So we will have to trim that off a little bit. That's okay. I wasn't sure. I'll just trim it down to the same on this side. We've got our Just For You. We're going to put it right there, and we'll add some bling. Some liquid glue. Just For You. So that extra glue. And then what I'm going to do for a little extra bling bling here is I'm going to add a little gem to the center of each. I'm going to go ahead and put this down on there to keep that going. And we're going to grab our crystals again. Now you could do red. You could grab another color. I'm going to just use the crystals because they're on my desk. Put it down in. It's going to take a second to dry. Come on. Come on. And then if I don't have it in the right spot, which I don't, come on, get down there. Get down there. It doesn't like to stick to the glitter. I'm going to just take my stick tool and kind of move it over to the center where I want it. And then I'm going to grab my, oh, I took the die. I took that one off. It's because it's the glitter stock, and glitter stock sometimes doesn't like things stuck to it. You have to use a little extra. I'm going to move this one just a hair. So they're going to come off because they, you know, they got to take, it takes a little while for them to dry. So I got to get them on there and leave them. There we go. Center, center, center. They kind of look a little more like flowers now, but I'm okay with them being flowers. They're Christmas flowers. They're poinsettias. And then for one final touch, I'm going to grab my ornament gold. I'm going to shake it up really good. And I'm going to switch to my upper camera so you can see what I'm going to do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to spritz it in the air and run my cardstock through it. And that gives it, let me go back to my other camera. Oops. And that gives it just a little bit, and it's going to take a few minutes to dry. But that's just going to give it that little bit of extra shimmer and shine everywhere. Like I said, it's going to be kind of hard to see that, but I can see it in person, that it's there. You can see it right here. that little extra shimmer and shine. So there you go, you guys. Like I said, I will link everything I've used below. Check out the sale. I think it's good till Monday. I'm not Sunday. Sunday, I think. But I will put the sale out, and also check out the new release. I will be back next week with a live, and we will be using the Stamp Club Plus, or the Stamp Club Premium. I'm super excited for that. Let's pull in our cards that we made here. You can kind of see that glitter glaze on that one a little bit. You can see it in person a lot better because of the way it dries. And there's card number 3. Thank you guys all so much, and I will see you next week. Bye now.